Good evening, and welcome to Nightsky Sanctum, session 20. We'll give everybody a minute to file in and bid everyone a hello. Let's start by introducing ourselves. We'll start with Morningstar.
With me? Well, hello, darlings. I am Morningstar, and today, as in every day, I shall be playing Elise, our Median Psyche, who's a wicked motherly type that certainly has no Freudian undertones whatsoever.
And over to Anya.
I'm Anya. I play Hollis. She is a Baba. She is curious, a death enthusiast, and she talks to dead people.
A lot. We'll hop over to Lilith next.
Hi, I play Seth, a Nereid shapeshifter. They're currently reckless, haunted, as well as paranoid. So that's a fun mix.
It is, I promise. And lastly, Azelwyn.
I am Azalin, and I am playing Yarrow, and she's a Satyr Arcanist, and sometimes she just is a little bit reckless, but it makes it a little bit more fun.
I think we all qualify as reckless in this game, but what we're going to be playing tonight? No, that's true. That's true. You've done some reckless things, but it's definitely not a character trait of Elise's.
Yeah, I think reckless is my only trauma.
And the rest of us just still waiting for trauma to happen to us. So we're playing Children of Midnight Coven, and their coven is called Nightsky Sanctum. They're known for being quite reckless. Well, actually, they're more known for being brutal and for being... What are your other coven lores?
Strange, and we like fire.
And we're very ambitious.
No, that's true. And probably have another lore coming up soon. I think you're close to gaining a new tier. So basically a level up for the entire coven. So where we last left off, you had all returned from an undertaking. Spent a little time, was it with the Vulture Votary?
Yeah.
On their island, North Brother Island. And
our closest friends and allies.
They are at this point.
Quite literally. The physical distance between us and them is negligible.
Yeah. And then one of your biggest rivals is probably the next closest, which is Rikers Island, which is one of the bases of operation for the Red Watch. So isn't that lovely? But luckily, they never seem to come at you from that direction where they would have a much easier time getting to you. But yeah. So also, we, thanks to Struggle Princess, we reached our community challenge goal, the Vile Legion Strikes Back. So I will write an adventure for that for our next week for episode 21. And that's going to be very exciting. So, but we've got a really fun one planned today too. So we are going to start with all of you back in your coven stead after you've had a little bit of downtime and a little bit of recovery from all the undertakings that you've done recently. When Hollis is asleep, where would you be sleeping?
Probably in her quarters, which probably is like as much like a graveyard as she can get it on the inside.
Do you think you'd be in one of the lowest rooms of the Covenstead? So touching bare earth.
A crypt or something to sleep in.
Yeah. I'm working on it.
Some of those luminescent mushrooms in the basement.
Yeah. Luminescent mushroom nightlights. So you have you are currently possessed by a astral spirit called Styx,
Mm-hmm.
and Styx has been talking to you in your dreams a lot. But you are having a deep, meaningful conversation about the underworld when Styx promptly exits your dream and is replaced by a ghostly figure that you recognize as Katla, the banshee that you met,
Oh, okay.
feeling like way back in session 5, maybe?
Yeah, way back.
Yeah. You all went and got revenge on for Katla's Gob friend who had been beaten by the Forsaken Saints. And that's one of the reasons that the Forsaken Saints have been a thorn in you all's side. Well, a thorn that
We've
you've
been a thorn
taken
in their
out.
side.
Yeah.
For the most part, we've just been bullying them.
Yeah. A thorn that you took out, threw on the ground, smashed, and then burned. But yeah, so anyway, Katla tells you that your reward is ready, but it's waiting for you at the floating market. And she gives you a little bit of extra information to help guide you to the floating market. And I will give that to you when we go to break later.
Okay.
Because there are going to be more pressing matters first. We have an entanglement that we need to handle. So, at the end of the last session, one of the things in Blades in the Dark style games, as well as Children of Midnight, is that as you rack up, in our game it's called Infamy, and in Blades it's called Heat. As you rack that up, you have a better chance of people coming back to get revenge and things like that. And so we rolled one, and so that's how we're going to start the session. So you have two things going for you. You have a secure coven stead, which is an upgrade that you all took. That's not quite going to come into play yet, but your Baba has an ability that allows them to know, excuse me, bumped my camera, if anything unusual is happening near or around your covenstead, which is considered her domain. So there may be something happening in the Baba's domain. So we're going to need a die roll to see whether you pick that up or not and how much information you get. That die roll is your coven tier. And I'm going to
Okay.
bring up the dice roller into the screen for us.
So just like an action roll, but with 2.
It's going to be a fortune roll.
A fortune roll.
Actually, sorry, it's going to be a gather information roll.
Okay.
Let's get that right.
So I guess I could roll focus since it's more of like a magical gather information.
This one is based on your coven tier. So
Oh, so it's just
as,
okay.
as you become more
Gotcha.
powerful as a group, that'll go up.
I got a 5.
Okay. So that's going to be a decent amount of information. So you know exactly what side of the island it's happened on.
Okay.
And the first piece of information you get is that there is a shipwreck, and it is on the east side of the island. There are no
Okay.
docks over there. So they definitely weren't trying to dock or anything like that. But at this
They
time,
were.
no
They
one-
did it quite poorly.
yeah, the worst docking job ever, because the dock is on the opposite side of the island. But yeah, so no one has stepped foot into your domain yet, but you are aware that a ship has just run aground over there.
Well, I will let everyone know that we have a ship on our island's backside.
Yeah. And if I remember right, I think Seth had led the coven in the telepathic bond ritual at the end of the last session.
Yes.
So you all have a telepathic communication line between each other. So it's very easy for that information to get around the coven.
I can get it from the comfort of my bath.
Nice. Okay. Who do we think would be maybe on the uppermost level or able to respond to that most quickly? Or would you rather send out a familiar?
You know, should think up the architecture of this coven set.
I think we had determined that there are some like pipes that run up the entire from the lowest floors to the highest that come up to the ground level that you've been able to send familiars up through. The size of a rat or smaller, and Hollis's owl is a quite small owl. So I think we had determined that it was able to make its way up that shaft as well. Is Yarrow's familiar present on the island? Because
I believe at this point, yeah, she's following me around, and she's probably more attached to me than normal, considering she was on a pretty long recon mission.
yeah, I think she had about at least 3 weeks to herself, hanging out, trying to pretend to be a gargoyle on top of a black church.
Yeah, she's a little needy now.
Flaming gargoyle.
Anya, you get one more piece of information if you want it. But there, like I said, nobody's set foot on the island yet.
Nobody's set foot on the island. Is it a very large boat that would hold a lot of people, or is it a small boat that would not hold a lot of people?
It's a ferry, so depending on the type of ferry, it could have a lot of cars, it could have a lot of people,
Okay.
or it could be a relatively small, like tourist ferry as well. Judging by the time of the year, that one is a maybe.
It's cold.
Yeah. Does someone have an idea about what kind of familiar do you send up, or if somebody wants to go up in person?
Well, I have Otherworld Omens, so I could go up and Seth could just be splashing around.
Okay. I'm for your Underworld Omens, I'm gonna say that there aren't. I think it's called Otherworldly Omens, and it affects all the spirit worlds, not just the Underworld. So
Yeah, the physical world or otherwise.
yeah. So you aren't sensing any kind of spirit activity up here that's outside of the normal for your coven. So your coven's patron spirit is sort of, you can feel its presence up there. And you can feel sort of a tie to the astral and a tie to the underworld here, but it's nothing that's out of the ordinary for you.
Okay.
I can send a run through the tunnel and do a flyover.
Okay. Do you want to request any group action, or?
How many familiars can get out through? I mean, I guess they could just go out through the front door. They don't need to go through pipes.
That's true. Especially since Seth is up there near the surface.
Yeah.
I feel like
Just holding
Jean
the
would.
door open for everybody.
Say it again.
I was just saying, Seth's just waiting patiently, holding the door for all the familiar.
I think Jean might gather like too much attention just in case there's something out there still.
That's true. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, well, do you want to roll for Iran? What would you like to have Iran do?
I guess a survey, just to kind of fly over and get a lay of the land of what's going on.
Okay.
He can't see anything.
Okay. It looks like a heavy mist has rolled in. Actually I meant to make an overlay of mist. So, but the perfect time. But I was going to have mist come across the screen, but I completely forgot. Blanked on that one. But it's a good thing you rolled a 3. That way I get to let everybody know that I was dumb. So, mist rolls in and obscures a lot of what's happening over there on that side of the island. It's not like, it doesn't look like it's like a spell or anything. It just, it just
natural
happens.
mist.
Yeah. It at least looks like a natural mist. But yeah, it's really hard to see the type of fairy. You can see its general outline. It doesn't look massive. And it definitely doesn't have, cars or anything on it.
Okay.
But you can't see much else or hear much else.
So no one's like screaming, "I'm drowning, I'm drowning."
Nope.
Yet.
Okay. That's good, at least. Just saying, if you die on my island, you're going in my graveyard.
This is a fact. All right. Any kind of magical senses you could bring to bear, or any spells you could cast, or Seth could try to get closer in a less conspicuous form. The world is your oyster.
Yeah, I can revert to the default of crab. So,
Blend right in.
yeah. Do that and try to get a little bit closer. So is Iran out and about? We decided that.
Flying around above head, but with the fog, it's very much restricting Iran's vision.
Okay.
Do you think a prowl would make sense as a crab?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll give you increased
Floating
effect on that.
crab.
Let me pull it up on my phone. I didn't do the setup.
All right.
Partial success.
Okay. With you getting closer as a crab, you are able to hear some scratching sounds around the lower section of the boat. Seems to have run aground in such a way that it's angled upward, so the front of the boat is right up, kind of like sticking up in the air a little bit. And the deck is well above your head. Well, it would have been anyway because you're a crab right now, but well above a normal sized person's head.
Okay. Sorry, I dropped my pen. I was just trying to find out what it was. Is there anything for me to potentially grab onto? Like try to attempt to climb up? Or is this
You mean pinch?
Pinch your way up.
my way up?
If you got into the water, you could probably go to the back side of the boat and make your way up onto the deck from there. Nothing really to climb at the moment that you're seeing. Welcome all the chatters.
Alrighty, well, I'll make my way to the back then, I guess.
Okay. You hear a lot more sounds. It sounds like something inside the boat scratching at the inner walls, probably from a cargo hold or something like that. It definitely seems like a passenger ferry from now that you're able to get up this close. And you're able to climb up onto the back deck. And it is the deck is completely clear. There isn't a single person on this ferry. But you can see the captain's area, that area, and it's closed off, so you can't see what's going on in there yet.
Okay. Well, I'd like to relay all this to everybody with the telepathy right now. See if anybody else wants to come venture out or if I'm going to continue to explore.
I'm going to get out of the bath and come join. At least get dressed first, though.
Yeah, Yarrow
Hollis is gonna head out that way.
Yarrow decides she can't go down and all that alone, so I'm gonna go out there and like I was sharpening my horns while Jean was sitting on me because she just will not leave me alone. And so I just go out there and find them.
All right. Yep. Okay. Everybody makes it outside, and Seth, you're hearing a lot of scratching. You're hearing some pounding now. That's coming from under the surface of the ship, so under the decks. Some pounding on some kind of metal door or something like that.
Okay. So I'm on the deck at this point.
Yeah, and everybody else is making their way out.
And you said that the captain's bit is blocked off, but is there a door to the inside of the ship that's blocked off, or do I have access to that?
Yes, so there's some like orange barriers that are set up to prevent people from getting close to the captain's area, but you can see through the door into that area, and there's nobody in the captain's, nobody piloting the vessel.
Okay. I'm interested in going below deck, so I can't turn a doorknob with crab pinchers, so
Right.
I'll just revert back to normal form and I guess make my way to that door.
All right. Do you want to describe to everybody what Seth's normal form looks like?
Zach's normal form essentially looks like the shape of water monster. Scaly, slimy, and fantastic.
Very at home in this situation, I'm sure.
Mhm.
All right. You have no problem locating the hatch as something or someone is below decks pounding on it. So you find it within seconds, and you can see through the fog as the rest of your coven mates are approaching.
So an action for me or an action for everybody else?
We could wait for everyone else to get closer, or you could inspect the door or try to open it.
I'll attempt to open the door.
Okay. You reach down and grab the handle, and it does appear to be locked from the inside.
Beans.
Beans, indeed. Now, the scratching at the side of the ship toward the rest of the group starts to get a little bit more intense. Kind of sounds like a cat scratching at a door. You can hear the metal starting to shred a little.
Well, I might just wait for the rest of the game then.
Where are you all headed? Because you don't have the Seth ability to, unless you want to go for a swim, to get aboard the boat very easily.
Is it that far off the shore?
Yeah, the front of the boat is sitting upward at a pretty strong angle, and the back of the boat is in the water. So you'd need to cross about, 15 feet of water to get to where the boat is level with the water level.
Maybe we
Wait.
go grab our boat and
from the other side
bring
of
it
the island.
around. Yeah. And that way, if there are people in there, we can get them up onto our boat and get them to the land safely.
From
Feeling
looking
that
at the deck, can
people-
I see if there's any like safety boats that I could huck down?
Any safety boats? Yeah, there are areas where you can tell they are supposed to be anchored. Apparently, that they have been either dropped before the boat arrived, or removed entirely before the boat launched. Yeah, sorry about the Raid Shadow Legends spam in chat. I was playing around with something and forgot to disable everything. So I will disable that during the break. So yeah, that's probably going to take about 20 minutes to go get the boat and your boat and bring it around. Unless you have a plan for that. It sounds like the scratching is coming to a fever pitch, probably sooner than that.
Well, it sounds like whatever is in there is going to come out without us doing anything. So perhaps the wise thing to do would be to amass on the shore.
Could I freeze us a bridge?
Oh yeah, I'm sure you could.
I'm gonna try to do that. That'll be fun. I get to be Ice Boy. Is that what we called? I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
you're just gonna have a Bambi moment with hoops on ice.
Aw.
As long as it's not Gene. It's sizzling.
Alrighty. Invoke Tartarus.
Yeah.
So from the shore to the boat, that's probably 2 or 3 essence, I would
I
say.
was thinking too, since, well, if you're trying to do it extremely quickly, yeah, 3 is probably the safer.
Quick enough and thick enough for us to walk on it without falling through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quick enough and thick enough.
Yeah. And I will do a focus roll to do that.
Okay.
Where's my mouse? Mm,
Those dice do not like you today.
they
All
never
right.
do. What do you mean today?
That's true. You do tend to get out all your bad dice rolls early in the
Like
session.
the first couple of rolls are always failures.
Yeah. So I think what this looks like is you're channeling so much energy into the water, into this ice. You forget that the metal of the boat is conducting a lot of that ice away from the water. And so the energy is sort of spreading into the hull of the boat, and it causes the outer hull to become more brittle, and whatever's inside is able to break out. Now
Okay.
you can resist that if you'd like. Save yourself. I mean, it's probably going to happen soon, regardless.
Yeah, they're not that far from the shore that they're going to drown if they're people. So you
No,
think
from the sound of it, they're going to come right out onto dry land. It's you guys trying to get onto the boat that required.
okay, well let's just they can just bust out. That's fine.
Okay. All right. So that's going to immediately take us to Risky. And what happens is, Seth, you see from above decks, the knocking at the door has stopped, and all the action and activity has congregated against the westmost part of the hull that's aground. And you hear that metal just getting more and more and more shredded as Hollis is out there channeling the underworld elements up into the water to freeze it, when the combined effort of everything that's going on inside the boat causes the outer hull to shatter and shred, and a dozen or so feral-looking humans with pale skin come barreling out of the shredded hole in the bottom of the boat and onto the island. As soon as they step out, what time do you think? Well, let's see. I guess I'm in control of what time this happens. Let's say.
Well, you said earlier Hollis was sleeping, so whatever time Gob's sleeping.
Whenever I can.
Whenever
I
you get
nap, you
a
know.
spare moment for nothing. Yeah, let's say this was probably like a morning ferry, and so this is like right around noon, maybe.
Okay.
So they come stumbling out into the sunlight, and their heads are just whipping around looking for anything. They look like whatever they find, they're going to tear apart. And they see Yarrow, Elise, and Hollis first.
Hi, guys. Oh.
So
Now that the hole's been ripped open, you can hear they're making guttural, feral noises. Their fingertips are just shredded, and the bony tips of their fingertips are sticking out.
Oh.
They have, pale faces and bodies, and
Can I tell if they're alive or dead? Like with my
yeah.
underworld affinity, can I tell if they're like the living dead or if they're just
Just
I don't
They
know,
just have rabies.
rabid? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you won't be able to tell like if they do have rabies, but yeah, you can probably tell if they are affiliated with the underworld. I would say also with Seth's otherworld knowledge, let's just say between the two of you, you're able to figure out that they don't seem to have any kind of spiritual connection to any of the spiritual realms. Nothing's jumping out at you with regards to that.
So they're woefully mundane.
Woefully. It is at this time that they start fanning out, and they start hissing and sort of picking their targets, and they congregate into small groups, and then try to section you off from each other to where each small group can try to wrangle and take down one of their targets. Before we get started on that, Hollis, Anya, can you roll one die for Hollis? Fortune roll.
Oh no.
No, make it 2 dice. Sorry.
Not too bad.
Okay. So, you feel all these feet hitting the ground, and you're sensing all of that in your domain. You also are sensing that something else has touched down as well. You have one question that you can ask.
What is it?
A rat.
A rat.
Yeah.
We got some kind of weird rat disease.
To be discovered.
Rats are actually very clean.
They're wonderful.
ticks on the rats we gotta worry about.
I've seen Ratatouille. I know how nice they can be.
Since I'm up on the deck and I'm seeing all these groups kind of bundle up,
Mm-hmm.
what did you say the barriers around the captain's quarters were? Is it like caution tape? Is it cones? Like, what is it?
Yeah, it's closer to cone material. It's these plastic, about 3 foot tall barriers with reflective tape across them. Kind of like if you were trying to block off like the side of a road, so people didn't like drive off into the ditch or something that you might put up. That kind of thing. Probably just meant to direct traffic around the captain's quarters.
So since it's a ferry, I'm assuming no sail.
Right.
And it wouldn't be necessarily a boat that's being tied down to a dock. Is there any kind of rope on deck that I can see?
Yeah. There's a significant amount of high quality, heavy duty rope.
Okay. I would like to attempt to shapeshift into some kind of large seabird and attempt to grab the rope and try to do a little Scooby-Doo moment, like wrap around one of the groups or section off some of them.
Okay. What form did you want to get into?
I didn't do a rock last time, and apparently that's a really massive bird. So let's do that.
Okay, so you're going to turn into a bird and then go dire form so that you can take on a whole group?
Yeah, I'm
On
going to
equal
do that
footing?
and try to either have like equal footing is probably the best option, and then try to tie up as many as I can.
Yeah. Okay, great. Sounds good.
To double check that I got a pump for dire form. That's essence.
Yep. And what kind of roll is that? Is that a brawl?
I think it's a brawl.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Just success at a 5.
All right. Oh, we got a question from a first-time viewer, so I was going to answer that real quick. The
I was
technology.
expecting an answer to that.
Oh, okay, great. Well, feel free, and we'll continue. All right, partial success on that. So, let's see. Do you want to describe what that looks like with you encircling a small group?
Yes, I would like to have the rope in my talons as I go down and do like a beach sweep in front of, I don't know how many I'm going to get based on my number, but
yeah,
I'd like to just cordon off a few and try to wrap them up to immobilize them.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. There is a little bit of a cost. So let's see. I think what you described, that makes sense. I think you got one of the smaller groups. They just happened to be closer to you and where the rope was tied off to on the boat. So you wrap up 3 of them that looked like they might have been making Yarrow their target. And they're not down for the count or anything, but they're scrambling to break through the heavy duty ropes. So they're going to have some trouble doing that.
While they're scrambling, can I use this opportunity to try out my words of power that I've gained and stun them? Because I'm pretty sure we shouldn't destroy them. We should just stun them for now and see if we can get some information from them while they're stunned.
Okay.
I think that's just a 1 essence, and
it's 1 for a single person, and if you want to use it to do a group, you just add on essence and to enhance the effect. So if you look on the magnitude tables, I think they're back on around page 24 or 25. It tells you what levels, but if I'm remembering right, a group of 12 is like magnitude 3, so that'd be 3 essence.
Okay, I have plenty, so I think I can swing that for sure.
Cool.
So let's go ahead and swing that, and let's stun those guys.
Okay, awesome. You want to make a focus roll for that?
Yes. Where am I at? Sorry, I'm not used to where it is on the new. Oh, I do have one in there. Yay.
Nice. It's a freebie. Everybody gets one. Arcanists don't have 2 for free?
I think it's crafting that we get to.
That makes sense. Yeah. Oh no.
Oh, that's not fun.
Okay.
It is my first time using the words of power, so.
Mhm. What do you think about other people get caught in the crossfire?
Oh, so I've stunned
Ooh.
poor Seth at the same time.
Yeah. I'm thinking possibly everybody but Seth.
Oh.
Because it just the word goes out and bounces back off the solid hull of the boat and just comes back at everybody and just blasts everybody.
Oh
And
man,
so
including me?
yeah, you and everybody else.
We're all stunned.
Yeah, so anybody that wants to resist that can do a resolve resist.
Okay.
Otherwise,
I'm going to try to do that.
You said I'm fine?
you're fine because you're aboard deck. Yeah.
I'm going to wrap everybody up, though. I'm on the beach now.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you would probably need to resist as well. Although, if you all didn't resist, it would wear off on you all pretty much at the same speed that it's going to wear off on them, most likely.
We're just all playing a massive game of red light, green light with you all right now.
So yeah, it's a wave of energy that just goes across the entire area. The water repels from it and everything, and then it smacks the side of the boat and just bounces back, and you all just have stunned looks on your faces as the power word washes over you.
The witches were too stunned to speak.
All right, so yeah, anybody that wants to make a resolve resist can.
I shall certainly
gonna
make
try.
an attempt.
Okay.
My goodness.
I think Yarrow might be too
Four.
stunned and just lets it like wash over and see how long it takes for it to really wear off. No time better than the present to experiment.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so you now know the effect of your own spell. Your mouth is still open from speaking, and it's just hanging open, and you are at a complete inability to move any part of your body. Your mind is still going though, so you're fully cognizant of what's happening, you're just unable to physically react to it. Okay, so it looks like everybody else spent varying amounts of willpower, except Hollis, who resisted it without having to spend any willpower. And so let's say Hollis can take an action first.
So I was thinking of trying a binding circle
Okay.
and encircling all of us and keeping those things out.
Okay.
Or would it be better to try to circle one of their groups and keep them in?
It could be done either way. Yeah.
I think I'm going to do one for us so that if we want to jump out and jump back in as necessary, we can do that.
Okay.
So, one essence, and then you encircle an area with a particular element to bind or deny entry for a specific creature. So, I will spend that essence.
And do you want to just call everyone over to your circle, or do you want to actually try to run around them all and make
No,
one?
I guess I will call for everybody to come closer to me, but I'm gonna go ahead and start drawing the circle
Right.
and then be like, everybody come get in the circle.
Okay. What element do you think would be appropriate for binding everything else except your coven mates. What's an element that is related to your coven, maybe?
I would say ocean water. Just have a wave, like dig a hole into the sand and have when the
Uh-huh.
wave comes in, it fills up the ring with water.
Okay. Cool. And luckily you have telepathic connection, so you're able to let everybody know exactly what to do to finish off the circle.
Yep.
All right. Do you want to go ahead and roll that?
And that is a focus roll,
Yeah,
I
let's.
would assume.
Yeah. I think this one's generally, I mean, it's going to work regardless, but this is just to give us a little bit more detail about how
Okay.
exactly it happens. And okay. All right,
There
yeah,
we go.
partial success. So yeah, I think that it's exactly what we described. You're going to need someone else to sort of complete the circle once they all get in, or you'll have to do it yourself.
Yeah, I'll just wait till everybody gets in and then I'll finish it.
All right. Immediately next, Elise and Seth start to recover. So Seth, you were thrown to the ground by the stun, but you recover fast. And Elise was able to resist it completely.
Thank goodness, because I just got out of the bath.
You don't want to roll around in the sand.
My burns still hurt too much.
Are you just moving into the circle, or do you want to take another action at the
Well,
time?
I would like to move into the circle, but I would also, at the same time, like to do a flashback if I could.
Absolutely.
It's been a while since we had one of those. Nothing too complicated, really. But I would like to have left the Covenstead, the building, to come out here with a bottle of gin.
Okay. Did you take that back with you, or did you leave it out here in the sand?
I will have it with me.
Okay. That sounds really right up your character's alley. So that sounds like a zero willpower flashback to me.
Perfect. Indeed, I mean, she rarely goes anywhere without alcohol, especially when she's home.
And Lilith for Seth.
So I'm not currently in the circle. We have to make our way through the circle.
The spell blasted you out of the air, and you kind of rolled off to the side. You've recovered faster than any of the creatures out here, and recovered faster than Yarrow, so you still have a moment to take an action before they recover.
Okay.
But yeah, you are currently outside of the circle.
Okay. Maybe just go into the circle, and if I'm still in my... Would the shout affect my dire form? Would I have swap back based on the effects?
The dire form only affects the single action you took, and then you normally revert. But if you want to retain it and take another action, you can spend another essence.
Okay.
And then basically that means you stayed in dire form the whole time.
Okay. In that case, I would like to expend another essence and see... Actually, you know what? No, I'll just make my way to the circle.
Say it again.
I changed my mind. I'm just going to head to the circle.
Okay. All right. You flap on over and enter the circle. And do you want to try to wait for Yarrow before you finish the spell, or let her fend for herself?
No, I'm waiting for her to get in here.
All right. So it's going to be kind of a race against the clock for Yarrow, because 9 of these creatures are breaking free from the spell.
How far away from me, is Yarrow?
Not terribly far.
Well, then I'm going to go grab her and start dragging her towards the circle.
Okay.
She's
This
stuck
is
like
a
this.
physical affliction, yes.
All right. What do you want to use for that? Remember, you are Gob, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you than it would normally be for others.
I'm gonna use brawl, and I'm gonna use all of my brawny strength to just kind of throw her as much over my shoulder as I can, and just book it for the circle.
Okay. Do you think it would be fair to give you decreased or lower, reduced effect due to being a Gaba? Gaba.
Yeah. A gaba. A
gaba.
goop. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, yeah, you'll probably get an XP for that at the end of the session, but all right. Yeah, you can make that roll.
I'm gonna go ahead and spend 2 willpower to get an extra die.
Okay.
Just so I can, just a little extra help. Alrighty.
Right.
Partial, that's not bad.
Yeah, partial success. All right. So with limited effect, I think you are still dragging her over when the creatures come to and when she comes to. And then she's able to assist you at getting her sort of across the finish line. So if the two of you want to do a group action or an assisted action or something like that, we can see what effect these things have on you.
As soon as I come to, I can grab Hollis and throw Hollis like on my shoulders or back and spring, and we can just see how far we can spring away.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Use my big old powerful satyr legs.
Yeah.
Which I only have 1 in spring anyway, so we're just go ahead. But how about I'm gonna spend let's do the 2 willpower and just push myself.
For an extra die?
Yeah, I want to get an extra die in there, make sure we really get away.
I'm also going to give you increased effect because, like you said, using your satyr legs. So
We'll push against the sand the best we can.
Yeah.
Well, at a cost. So yeah, again, probably the sand might have like sucked me back a little bit.
Yeah. I think you both make it into the circle. It's just a matter of closing the circle so the spell activates. And when you get the spell activated, one of the creatures is inside the circle with you, while the others are immediately repelled by the spell finishing. Since that was a Zaelwyn's action, if you want to resist that effect, that one breaks through, you could make a prowess resist. We can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I was like, do we want one for research purposes? Do we want it?
Kinda, yeah.
I say we let it break through, and maybe I can try a baby stun.
A baby what?
If it's still like movable, mobile.
Sure. Okay. In that case, yeah, it gets through. The spell goes off as expected. You are all in a protective bubble of this seawater. And these creatures finally break free from the rope that was wrapping them up, and they start sort of scavenging the island, looking for any living thing that they can get their hands on. You see them grabbing crabs off the beach and just tearing into them. And yeah, they just sort of split up and they just start killing everything they can find.
Not the crab.
Well,
Not my crab friends.
The crabs seem to get the worst of every
I
invasion.
know. So sad.
But you do have another one to deal with, and I'm gonna say, let me roll. I'm gonna roll a not on that computer. I'm not. I'm gonna roll a fortune die and see who this goes after. The last person on the list is Hollis. So a 6 is definitely a Hollis. Maybe it's because you're the smallest and you look bite-sized. But this thing...
I bite back.
Yeah, we know you do. But this thing, it looks like a woman. Most of her hair is missing from like the pretty much the center part all the way over, and judging by the wounds in her flesh, the whole thing was probably ripped out at some point in the recent past, because the wounds look pretty fresh. But she descends on you and just starts gouging at you with her bony fingertips and tearing at your skin. So what do you want to do?
Well, I think I should brawl and see if I can't. I'm kind of thinking I want to climb her and get on her back.
Okay.
And see if I can't, like chokehold.
Okay.
So yeah, brawl.
We're going to put this at desperate.
Yeah.
Because you're of your small stature and everything, brawling with a normal sized human is definitely going to be.
I fought a giant and won twice.
You did.
Just saying. This ain't nothing.
Yeah.
So have I, darling. You're not special.
Do you want to try to get an assist from anybody in the circle?
Sure. Anybody who wants to take a swing at it, feel free.
Can I try a little baby stun with 1 essence, and we'll just see if we can maybe I barely do like a little I barely I want to hit Hollis.
Yeah. So yeah, do you want to just spend 1 willpower and we can treat that as an assist? You're basically going to reduce any consequences she would normally suffer for a desperate action are going to get, massively reduced because of the stun effect.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Hollis is going to think she's amazing.
Yeah. Let's start with the stun roll, the focus roll, and then we'll go to to Hollis's roll. Just a little 1 die fortune roll to see how well your next attempt at stun goes. So close quarters though. So I think this one reflects back at you as well, but it gets you and the thing. So what does that look like?
So I'm just going, I can't even get it out, and it's just there and back. I'm stuck again. I'm just stuck.
Okay, Hollis.
All right, brawl.
Is going to give you +1 die.
Oh, +1 die?
For the assist.
Oh, sweet. I got a critical success.
Okay. You can
Hollis,
absolutely...
her head has grown 3 sizes, and she thinks she's amazing. She can fight anything now.
She is.
You can describe that to whatever degree you'd like, and you get a little bit of a bonus. So if you'd like to do something else, add something else to your brawl.
Hollis is going to scramble up the front of this person and then over behind her, and she's going to wrap her legs around this lady's neck and just squeeze really tight and incapacitate her all on her own.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense for a critical. You end up having to squeeze a lot. Sorry, excuse my. All right. You end up having to squeeze quite a bit longer than you expected, but thanks to the stun, she doesn't recover in time before she is passed out. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of blood in her mouth. It looks like she might have bitten her tongue. But
Okay.
the other ones have all gone off to various parts of the island. They've kind of started spreading out, so
This is not good.
Call them back then.
who wants to go and be bait?
Well, I just incapacitated one with my thighs, so I might be pretty.
God.
Yeah,
And also, you have a broomstick, darling. You could fly about.
this is true.
Yeah.
Fly around by my arms and just I don't know, whack people with my legs.
Yeah. You really
just take
knocks.
a knife and sharpen the end of it. You could impale them.
I know. I need to do that. I need to. Can I do a flashback that I sharpened my broomstick into a point?
Yeah,
and I will impale people.
It's gonna be a bit of a hefty flashback though, because we'd have to deal with the fact that you're modifying a magical artifact, and that could potentially lead to it losing its powers.
What if I just stick something pointy on the end of it?
A bayonet.
Right.
Yeah,
The witch's bayonet.
I just duct tape a knife to the end of it.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Hollis style, just duct tape.
Yeah, let's call that a one willpower flashback.
There.
So what does this dagger look like, or knife that you have duct taped to your broomstick?
I'm gonna say it's like a machete.
Okay.
So it looks like a sword if Hollis holds it.
Sure.
So yeah, big,
Are you gonna
machete. Super
drop
sharp.
your spell so you can exit the circle?
Do I have to drop it? I can't just leave the circle.
The circle is specifically made to keep other things from coming out. So yeah, you're right.
No, it's specifically made to
to keep other things out.
deny entry, so I should be able to leave.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna leave and try to chop people with my broomstick machete.
Okay. You want to go hunt one down and go for it? Anybody else taking an action? Do you guys want to all do some kind of thing as a group, or just let her see what she can do here?
I'm just going to light up a cigarette at this point.
Well, I'm still in bird form, so I'll at least follow Hollis around in case any shit inevitably hits the fan.
Yes.
It's like 3 or 4 shish kebab down. It's like, oh, now it's too heavy.
I feel like Yarrow's slowly twitching back to life. So
yeah. As the
she's
spell
slowly
wears off.
unfreezing.
Yarrow's got the frozen thing where the goats end up on their back and their legs get all rigid.
Jean is hopping around you protectively.
Probably pecking at me at this point. Come back to life, Mom. Come back.
She's not fighting back anymore. Yeah, if she was a cat, she'd be trying to eat you already.
I think at this point, if I keep it up, I'm going to have some permanent trauma where I just randomly stun myself all the time.
All right, Hollis, what do you want to use for that?
Uh, I feel like everything she does when it comes to fighting is more on the side of brawl than finesse. She's not trying to be quick and swift and pretty. She's just barreling. So it seems more like of a brawl thing to me.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm gonna say the fact that you're flying is gonna counter the fact that you're a gob and give you standard effect.
Okay.
Do you just want to go after one? Do you want to like try to peg one in the back, or
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go after one and see how successful I can be, and then I'll decide if I want to do it again.
okay? Sounds good. All right.
Four. Yeah, it's not bad.
Partial success. So I think what that looks like is you very successfully impale one from behind, and you get the attention of two others who then turn toward you, and you're having to sort of wrestle this body off of your broomstick because it's like slid down onto the haft of the machete, and so now it's like part on the broom and part on the machete, and yeah, you're having to like reverse off of it while two others are coming toward you.
Okay.
So back from risky to desperate for you.
I would like to call out as loudly as I can and attempt to get the creatures to return near the binding circle.
Okay.
If just to try to get some off of Hollis, but at any rate, I'd like them to be somewhere we can keep track of them.
Okay. I think that's sort of within their nature to respond to something like that. So let's just do roll your Covenanter as a fortune roll, just to see how that goes.
All right. Are we 2 or 3? I can never remember.
2 currently.
I see. And that's if for fortune?
Yep.
It's a 4.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, you are able to draw about half of them back. One of the two that was coming toward Hollis has gone toward your call. The other one is still facing off with Hollis. Yep.
And if I may, I do have an idea of what I'd like to do once they've gotten closer.
Yeah, they're coming right for you, and they're well, as soon as they sort of crest the hill and they see that you're still in the magic circle, they start to reconsider whether they're going to go closer or whether they're going to go back and scavenge more. So if you want to possibly go up to risky, you could dangle some leg meat out of the circle or something.
I think that's a smashing idea, yes.
Pull up the
Closer.
dress.
Oh goodness, are they that sort of rabbit? But thankfully, my dress has a slit right up the leg anyhow.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, so do you want to describe what that looks like?
And I suppose, just like that, Elise takes her leg and sticks it out the circle, planting her Louboutin heels into the sand on the other side, and gestures towards it, since they seem to hunger for, well, meat of some sort, in an attempt to lure them closer.
All right, I'd say one trips off of a sort of sand dune and falls down the dune, and then rather than getting to its feet, it just starts crawling on its hands and feet very, very rapidly toward you. And so it's making the best time. But 2 others are also heading for you now. So now you've got 3 heading toward you, 1 close and 2 a little further away.
Men are so easy. Especially when they're feral.
They're not all men, but yeah. Oh, did I just say not all men? I'm sorry.
Picturing the whole leg thing, like in the old movies when the leg
Yeah.
was like a taxi.
The eyes bug out.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. So what is Elise doing?
Then, if I could take another moment, I would like to open the bottle of gin, pour some of it, take off my glove and pour some of it on the glove, stuff it into the bottle, and light the end with my cigarette.
Absolutely. Improvised Molotov cocktail.
Proper.
We lost your audio for a second there again. After proper.
Oh, that's all. I just like to make a statement where I think that was proper.
All right. Do you want to target the one that's crawling toward you?
Target. Oh, yeah, my mic's bugged a little bit. I'd rather target the other 2. Are they closer together?
Yeah, they are.
All right. I'd rather try to aim between them.
They're kind of like slap fighting each other away. Like, no, I'm going to get to her. No, I'm going to get to her. Yeah, sounds good. I'm going to say they're a little further away, but not enough to be like reduced effect or anything like that. So I'm going to say risky still. What do you want to use for that?
Would we say that's more of a finesse or a target?
Could go either way. I would say if you're maybe, I would say target kind of makes a little bit more sense since it's sort of an unwieldy thing. It's not really made for throwing like your custom daggers are.
No, it's not exactly meant to be tossed. Well, if I'm going to use target, then I would like to spend some willpower.
Okay.
To get an extra point in that, because my target is atrocious. And the last thing we need is more fire getting everywhere.
Would you prefer a Fey bargain? Or do you want to just
I
spend?
Spent so little willpower so far today, so
you got to spend some to regain.
Yes. But who knows? The Fey bargain may rise later.
For sure.
That is a 5.
Okay, so I think that looks like it heavily hits one and just sets it completely ablaze. The other one just gets burning alcohol on its arm and kind of peels off from the other. The flaming one runs all the way up to the circle and is like scratching at the circle, and you're just watching it burn from the inside where you're safe. Sorry, fire again. But at least it's not you guys burning this time.
This isn't too descriptive of a fire, thankfully.
So yeah, it's just being consumed as it falls to the ground into the sand. And the other one drops to the ground and just covers its arm in sand to put out the fire.
So they're moderately intelligent.
Yep, just maybe obsessive with food. And the other on its hands and feet is has a hold of your shoe, but not your leg.
It's even worse, though. Hands. Well then, I would like to take my gun and shoot it in the head.
Okay, sounds good. That would probably be a finesse. If you're up for it.
I am up for a finesse, certainly. That's a complete success.
Awesome. Okay.
That's what you do when a man grabs your Louboutins. You execute him point blank with a revolver.
All right. You want to describe that? It's a clean kill shot.
Well, the moment he gets close enough after the Molotov has been tossed, Elise, since her leg is already exposed and her skirts are open, just modestly enough, she lifts it a little bit higher to show the revolver strapped into a garter. She pulls it out, aims it directly at his head, and pulls the trigger.
Right.
And he slumps to the ground.
Yep. Big hole in the front of his head and bigger hole in the back.
And blood on my shoes.
A bit. A bit.
It's a new meaning to red bottoms.
There was a red everywhere.
Hollis, you have a active bogey trying to get to you.
And I, so is the one that I already hit, is it dead or dying, or is it still just as active trying to get to me, just now it's stuck on my broom?
It's flailing around, but it's probably dying, judging by where you hit it, which was somewhere near the heart. And so it's flailing around, and you're slightly lifted off the ground so that it doesn't have any leverage to extricate itself from your blade. So you could,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'll just tip and let it fall off.
And use that to get away from the other.
Yeah.
I think with magic broom control, I think focus would probably make sense.
Okay.
And we're going to put it at risky because you're in such a pretty good position.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Did you roll?
Yeah, I got 5.
Okay. Yep. So the one you impaled slides off and starts and just falls into the grass on the island, just near the top where the beach ends. And the other one leaps upward and slashes at your ankle. And it's going to do level 1 harm unless you want to resist that.
I will try to resist that.
Okay. I think prowess or insight, either one could apply.
I think I'm going to go with insight because I feel like it's more of a brain thing to be out of the way of this guy as he's coming.
Makes sense to me. You're still trying to control that broom just right. All right, let's see how much willpower that costs.
And that's an R on the end of that?
Yep.
None.
Wow. Okay, really good roll. All right. So yeah, you command that broom to post haste, and it rockets upward, leaving both of them on the ground. Where do you want to head to next?
I think I just want to do a higher pass over the island so I can get an idea of where they all are and what they're doing and
Okay.
how difficult it's going to be to get them all under control.
All right. What do you want to use for that? And then we'll go to Seth and Yarrow and see what they are up
Well, I
to.
was following Hollis just in case
Following Hollis?
room. So if Hollis is going to go and do a survey of the island,
Uh-huh.
I can do a survey with them.
Okay. Yeah, you
Yeah.
could do that as a group action, or you could give an assist.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So what's involved in assist? It's just 2 willpower?
Just one willpower.
One willpower?
And that gives her +1 die.
Okay, yeah, I'll
And
do that then.
the only downside of an assist is that if she does fail, you are potentially on the hook for consequences as well.
Okay.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what's the action roll?
I guess I'll do a survey, just like a
That makes
5
sense.
type survey thing. And I have an extra die to do that.
Yes.
Ooh,
Okay,
extra die
I got
save.
a 5.
All right. The two of you take to the air and telepathically communicate what you're seeing, and you're able to sort of hone in. And you watch as two of the creatures have now gone in through the door of your covenstead.
Those bastards.
But because you rolled decently well, it's possible for you to sort of head them off if you want to take them on before they get inside.
How secure is our
Secure Covenstead.
No, I was the don't we have we have a prisoner right now?
You do.
Hmm.
Yeah, you have Trinity in your
Hanslith
dungeon.
Trinity is in our cell. She should be safe in there, right?
Between secure Covenstead and the fact that you've got her in a cell and the fact that she doesn't have hands, I don't know. It kind of balances out.
I mean, they're not going to get through our bars.
The fact that she's a sape as well.
Junie Willow makes a good point. Oh no, the children.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
The children are in there.
I forgot about the children. Okay. I guess I will try to keep them out then.
Okay. Let's see. For the cost, I think they spotted you on your way toward them. So they are aware that you're coming toward them. So it's going to be risky territory for the both of you if you try to intercept. You won't have the element of surprise.
Yeah.
The two of you are on pretty equal footing with two of them. So if you have an idea of something to do as a group, you'd have a
Well,
pretty
I was
good.
thinking I would try to land in front of them and quickly do a invoke Tartarus and make some fire
Okay.
and try to just make like a wall of fire that they can't get through.
You
Or
shall
set them
prove
on
as a
fire.
staff and shout, "You shall not pass" at them.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think
I
you
need a
really.
staff so that I can use the staff to make the fire, just because it'll be more aesthetic.
Cinematic. I don't think there's any real requirement for you to be in front of them to do that. So
Okay.
if you wanted to just sort of land, yeah, I don't think you even really need to land. So yeah, however you want to go about that.
Yeah, I think she'll stay on the broom,
Okay,
even though this might be a little difficult for her because she generally touches the ground when she casts one of her spells.
that's true. So
So
maybe we'll do reduced effect
yeah.
since you're breaking your casting style just a little bit.
She could
Yeah.
hang on the broom by her knees and touch the ground that way.
Upside down.
I'd probably fall on my head. Okay. I'm gonna spend. What is my essence up to? Let's see. I'm gonna spend 2 essence just because I want to make sure that I get a large enough amount of fire that I can get the 2 of them completely covered.
Okay. Oh, you're actually setting the two of them on fire, not just.
Yeah, I
Putting-
mean, yeah, I want to set them on fire and kind of have them become part of the like wall of fire
Okay.
because I don't want them running around. They seem relatively dangerous.
Okay.
All right, so I will do a focus roll.
Okay. Reduced effect.
And I got a 3.
Oof. Okay.
Why do I always fail when I spend the most essence? It's so funny.
That's interesting.
Like if I'm spending essence, then it's bad.
Yeah, so I think this might have something to do with the casting style
Yeah,
thing.
that's what I was thinking.
Um, um,
So maybe I could withdraw and try again, kind of a situation.
you could go to desperate and try again.
Yeah, I think I would
Basically.
just, if I couldn't do it from the air, I would land
Yeah.
and put myself in a little bit more risk to try again.
Yeah. And Seth, do you want to keep them busy or something while she's trying to cast? Because I think.
Yeah, I was thinking if this one didn't work out, that I could pop dire form again and try to at least pick up and chuck one of them.
Okay, so we'll let Anya make Hollis's roll first, and then you'll try to intercept if necessary.
Yeah, I don't want to ideally pick them up if they're on fire.
Right, exactly. Okay.
Okay, so I guess I have to spend another 2 essence.
No, effectively the same spell.
Okay.
You just tried, said, "Oh, this isn't working. I need to be touching the ground." Touch the ground. Now you're in desperate.
Can I spend 2 willpower to get an extra die?
Sometimes you just need to touch grass.
Exactly.
Yes, you sure can.
Let's try this again.
So it's going to make this a 4 dice action.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got 3-3-1 on the last one.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Oh my god.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna definitely need some Seth interception because
All right.
I think what this looks like is the underworld.
It's mad at me.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's happening. You've been pulling so much element from the underworld that the underworld starts taking the elements from around you, and you find yourself in like a hole where it's basically just swallowed up the part of the earth around you as a offering, and you're in a hole and one of the creatures falls into the hole with you.
Pit fight.
Yeah, pit fight. And you're about 8 feet down in a 3 foot by 3 foot hole with a creature that's twice your size. And the other creature is still at the surface, and it's sort of deciding whether it's going to jump down into the hole and help the other one tear you apart. So
I have a machete broom.
I think you left your machete broom
Where?
when you touched the ground.
I set it down next to me, so if I fell in the hole, it fell in the hole.
Hey, darling, you know the word of activation.
That's true.
We know it can fly autonomously.
Yeah, so yeah, let's say it fell straight down and the machete is stuck in the ground next to you.
Okay.
All right.
Landed precariously between your legs.
So I think that would be a good time for Seth to step in.
So I've popped my essence. I'm just putting that in now. And that's going to be another brawl roll.
Okay.
So we'll see how this goes. Partial success at a 4.
All right, and this was an attempt to
This was an
pick it up.
attempt to, pick up the one that is currently not in the hole.
Okay.
Like Hollis isn't getting like attacked from both sides.
And I'm going to say getting this close to it, even though you're in dire form, is going to be desperate. But I'm also going to give you increased effect because you're so huge and you're just fighting one little puny human-sized thing. But carrying it up and away gives it a little bit of time to kind of claw at you. So it grabs a hold of one of your talons and just bites into your leg, the lower part of your leg, and just starts gnawing on your leg. And that's going to cause level 2 harm. Unless you want to resist it.
Lunch foot.
Did you say lunch foot?
Munched foot.
Lunch.
No.
Munched. Gotcha.
So I'm cool with that because that makes sense to me.
Okay.
He's not just going to chill there and be like, I guess this is happening now.
Yeah. I believe I can fly.
I'm like a bird. Literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Is it me again? Or is it
yeah, well, where do you want to put him? Do you want to hurl him into the
in
ocean?
the sea?
Okay. I don't think we need to make a roll for that. You're so big and it's no problem at all. So, yep, you detach his mouth from your leg, and he gets a worried look in his eyes as he gets flung away, and he just goes spiraling out into the sea. And you guys can all see that from the other side of the island. Yeah, that leaves about, 9 left?
I'm not sure. I don't recall the ocean counts.
Yeah, something like that. It was 12 to start with. So, one shot, one on fire, and one flung out into the sea.
Isn't there one in the circle with us that got through that we...
Oh yeah, that you took care of, so that's
Yeah.
4. So
One
that's
got
8.
impaled. Brutally.
That's right, 5, so there's only 7 left. Well done. All right, Hollis, your your issue is the most pressing currently. I'm gonna say to take an action, you're gonna need to do a resist first.
Okay.
Or unless you want to do a brawl, at which case that kind of counts as the resist.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
I want to basically use the broom that's stuck in the ground as leverage to kind of climb up and just kind of put my just kind of more, trying to think of how the best way to describe this. I want to put my hands on it and then I just kind of want to kick him all the way up using my hands on the broom as leverage to climb up him. Basically run up him, kicking.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, the broom's magical, so it can assist you.
Cool.
Let's see. We'll just count that as increased effect.
Sounds like a classic move from a Kung Fu movie.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you can make that roll. That's I'm going to say it's still desperate.
All right, don't fail. Huh?
All right. So with an increased effect, that more or less is you did it. What does that look like? What kind of damage do you do with your feet?
Well, Hollis is kind of all legs, so they're their most powerful part. So I probably go for a groin shot and then go for a solar plex shot and then go for like a, nose, face, mouth shot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you want to use your momentum to get yourself out of the hole?
Yeah.
Have
Let's do
the
that.
broom carry you up back to the surface?
Yeah.
Okay. Leave this thing down there. Yeah, I think that makes sense as the like increased effect, and then for the cost, I think the machete came loose, and so it's still down there in the bottom of the hole.
Okay, my duct tape gave out. That's fair.
Should have used Gorilla Tape.
I know. Next time.
So Yarrow and Elise are completely safe inside the circle. Anything the two of you want to do? While the other two of them are kind of like resetting and getting to safe places.
Would I be able to use my clairvoyance to maybe get a location of where the rest of the 7 are for sure? That way we can have them pinpointed. Because I assume we're going to have to slowly hunt them down.
Yeah, I love that. I think that sounds great. Perfect thing to do from inside of a warded circle is to provide information. So yeah, that sounds great. Like just sort of rocket your perception up into the air and get a view down, and yeah, sort of be able to map it out for everybody so everybody knows where everything's at.
Yeah. I
Awesome.
think that will work perfect. And I think that would, just be like a focus with.
Makes sense to me. Do you want to take a Fey bargain for that for an extra die?
No, I'm getting kind of close. I don't think I'm quite ready to have a
Have a contract?
But let's see. Oh, let me get back in here. There we go. I'll just roll.
You could also take a die for finding something hidden, which is your Arcana bonus, if you are interested in that, if that makes sense to you.
Well, I guess we are trying to find hidden creatures.
Certainly be a worthwhile use of the
Yeah.
asset that we almost always forget to use.
It's such a nice GM to remind us.
I meant
But yeah,
to.
I'll go ahead and just roll 2 then.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, for once.
Very close to a crit. All right. Okay. Yeah, how do you want your spell to look?
I feel like, as usual, I'm going to utilize my horns and kind of tick them like a tuning fork. And with that, I'm able to get on the right, the frequency to astro project, and that's where I can kind of see.
Nice.
And I just see everything above. And basically from there, it's like, oh, well, I kind of see where they all are. So it's like a little map in my head I can relay to everybody.
Yeah. You are picking up that same energy that you're getting from all these creatures. You're picking that up from inside of your base as well. So it makes you think that there might be something down there that's similar. Horn power, that's right.
When in doubt, use the horns.
Yeah.
So we have something that's kind of akin to them. That's interesting to know. I guess we're gonna have to figure that out. So we have the telepathic relay, so they all know the information now.
Perhaps Trinity has gone feral. It has been a few weeks, all by themselves.
Maybe this is some sort of eldritch madness that's like our children's worms.
Interesting.
Well, we could find out more about what's going on, potentially. There's one of these roots trying to get into the binding circle, after all, still.
Yep.
With some minor burns. Perhaps I should attempt a mental takeover and see what is actually going on in their minds.
Sure.
So, while the beast continues to pound on the warding circle, I will take a long drag from my cigarette and then exhale the smoke, and it shall drift through the energy and attempt to worm its way up the feral ape or whatever it is nose into its brain.
Awesome.
That is study row plus 2 essence.
Right. Getting inside its head.
5.
Okay. So that's going to be at a cost. Okay. I think the cost is you're not familiar with this type of mind. There's something very different about it. There's something wired different about it. The synapses are firing at like 3-5 times the speed of a normal person, but all of the energy is going to like certain subsections of the brain. It's almost like the rest of the brain has died. And so you have access to only some of it. It's like it has no memory. So it's hard to see backward, but it's easy to see what it wants and it's stuff, things like that. So I think that's the only sort of problem you're running into, but otherwise complete control or complete ability to read. So you get 2 facts that you can learn from its mind.
I'd like to first and foremost sort of gauge its awareness of what it's doing. I mean, obviously, we know it wants to devour, to attack, to rip things to shreds, but does it actually have an awareness of what it is doing?
Thank you so much for the subscription. All right. Elise over here kicking the ass out of the game. Great. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's see. As far as how aware it is, it seems to have more senses than humans normally do. Ability to move at high speeds and like react quickly, but it has a intense hunger drive for human flesh and blood.
It's not good.
No, not very good. Well, evidently, we don't have to feel bad about killing them.
But yeah, like I said, a decent chunk of the brain seems to be inactive at the very least, if not dead completely. I think you get one more question, if you can think of one.
But I'm wondering more. So the answer you gave me was obviously useful. So very helpful. I was wondering more so of a moral awareness of if it is aware of its own actions, if it has sentience, rather.
Yeah, you think it does. It's just sort of being overpowered by hunger right now.
See.
Yeah. Awesome.
So perhaps we just feed them.
Somebody have some cow summoning powers?
Cow summoning. Seth, you could turn your familiar into a cow.
No.
Poor River.
Cast sacrifice familiar. Hungry indeed.
Serious case of the munchies.
Yarrow, do you want to try to go deeper, get more information about this other signal that this energy signal that you've got to?
I think, yeah, I still got like 4 ticks of essence left. I think I can maybe spend like another essence, and we can at least see like a little deeper. Let's see what's going on, because I mean, I feel like if we can find a connection, and if maybe their brains aren't completely dead that's cut off, and what if we can bring them back? We've just been destroying them. But yeah, so I guess that would just be another focus roll.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Just with a different intention now. You're trying to get deeper information about some more specific ones. Wow.
Second in a
On
row.
one die. Okay. Your mental, your consciousness just dives into the earth, straight down into your Covenstead. You pass through all these tubes and these, pipes and everything, and you pop out and you are in Trinity's cell. And you can see a pale-faced creature standing over Trinity, feeding her its blood.
Are these just gross vampires?
Excuse them.
They are very gross vampires, yes.
Well, that's fun. So I guess we need to go after Trinity. So if we want to feed this thing, can we feed Trinity to one of the things that we have?
And if they're not eating her now, then they're probably not gonna.
If I remember correctly, and I'm not certain the mechanic of this necessarily, but I do believe there was some lingering damage that I could do to Trinity
Yeah.
from my threefold curse, because we didn't want to kill her completely.
Yeah, that's right. You had you could have caused her up to 9 levels of harm, which is enough to kill her 3 times over. And I think you infected her lungs with your smoke, so that every time she healed, she would immediately her lungs would fill with tumors or from the smoke.
Goodness.
So that kept coming back and stuff. I think it's been long enough that we can say she's taken all that damage and healed from it.
Fair enough.
If you're fine with that, I think.
Of course. More fun.
If it was the session after or something, but I think
it has been a fair while since then.
It was before the zoo, before the zoo heist, that you guys caught her. So she's been down there a little while.
She's perhaps the only thing that's kept her down there for so long.
Her little hands that have almost fully grown back. She had weird little grapes on the ends of her cut off arms. But yeah, they've nearly fully grown back. Yarrow, you get an intense. The creature looks up at you. Its ears are a little pointier than normal. Its teeth are jagged, and it looks up where your consciousness has sort of come to rest. And it looks through you, but you just in your body, the hairs stand up on the back of your neck as it feels like the thing is looking through you, possibly looking through your consciousness to where you really are.
Well, I would like to swiftly come back. And let's figure out a plan for this thing, because I don't want it rifling through my consciousness. There's been too much damage and rebuilding and damage and rebuilding. Who knows what they could find in there?
Well, we should likely try to get down there quickly then, if this is really happening down there. But first, perhaps we should see if these creatures are truly beyond salvaging or not.
For sure. And before we do that, maybe we should take a quick break.
Probably a good idea.
It's been a while. It's a little after 9. So, all right. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back at. We'll try to be back between 9:10 and 9:15, and we'll see you all in just a moment. Bye. Welcome back, everyone, to Nightsky Sanctum Session 20. And where we left off, Yarrow had just snapped back to her body after being what felt like her grave walked over by this creature in Trinity's cell. And I think, Elise, was there something you were doing?
Going to attempt a physical takeover to see if perhaps by properly invading the mind of one of these things, I could potentially force my way through and reignite some of the dead parts of the brain.
Okay.
And since I'm here inside the binding circle,
You're
seems
very
a safe enough place to attempt it.
Makes sense. And that's a... What kind of roll is that, usually?
That is a focus roll.
Okay.
So I will once again attempt to blow some smoke up this poor creature's nose and see if, by forcing my way through its brain, I can at least bring it some sense of stability.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a 4.
Okay. Okay, so we've got success at a cost here. And we've already decided that these things have their brains wired up in a pretty different way to humans that you've dealt with in the past. So, yeah, I think bodily control over these creatures, it's going to take some getting used to. But you're in as far as that goes. So Elise's body slumps to the ground, into the sand in the middle of the protective magic circle. And you are now inhabiting the body of a feral human, a mustachioed 5'8" tall gentleman with no skin on the tips of his fingers.
Charming.
You can
Is the
feel
mustache at least well groomed?
Yeah, quite well. It has a little twirl to it.
There we go.
He looks
Is it
like he was a
fairly-
hipster before whatever happened to him today.
Well, first things first, I attempt to enter the circle and grab my cigarette and fail immediately because I can't do that.
Yeah,
So I look longingly at it,
yeah. You're like,
and then I look to Yarrow, and I nod my head towards the bunker, as if to encourage her that we should head on our way.
Yeah, I think Yarrow can spring out of there for sure.
all right. Okay. Yep. Where are you two headed?
I think we need to go to the coven.
Yes, I think we need to get down there and deal with Trinity.
Okay. So you're all telepathically connected. So, do you all want to try to get in there as a group? There's now a 8-foot deep pit right at the entrance of your place, but it should be relatively easy for you to leap across.
Oh no, 8. How wide is it?
It's only about 3 feet wide.
Well, once we all get together, I shall just lay myself across it as a bridge.
We can all just take one reaching step.
Yeah.
We'll avoid using him at least as a bridge.
But it's not me. It's
Yeah. Seth.
We're gonna call him now.
Yeah. Seth, what form are you going to be in?
I will just revert back to my normal form while I'm at the. Is Hollis the person the hole's been dealt with, right?
Yeah.
They're in the hole.
There's one in the hole trying to climb their way out. They have a machete now. And then there's another that's on the other side of the hole that is raring up to leap across and see if they can get a hold of some Hollis meat.
Okay. Well, I will revert back to, I guess, my normal form next to the hole, and to try to be helpful if anything happens with this other person in Hollis. But otherwise, I'm just going to kick some sand into the hole.
You are behind them, and they do not currently know you're there. So, if you wanted to like push it into the hole or anything,
heck yeah,
probably wouldn't be terribly difficult.
Give him a shove. The pit.
This almost gives me an idea. Perhaps we should just see if we can magically enlarge the pit and get ourselves a pit full of zombies as a moat to keep people out.
All right. What kind of action do you want to use for that?
A spring is like a surprise, right? So
Yeah, that's absolutely could be.
Okay. I won't use any extra biddies to make that roll any better, but I only have one, so we'll see how this goes.
I think that'll be risky.
I guess I fell into.
Okay. I don't know about fell in, but I think because it's a spring. Yeah, you know what? I mean, maybe not fell in, but I think that kind of thing might have been a worry, and so you sort of came up from behind him, sprang forward and hit him with your shoulder, and tried to knock him into the pit, and he fell across the pit, and then turned over and grabbed a hold of your arm, and so now the two of you are both sort of slowly getting dragged into the pit with the other one. So,
Can
yeah.
I do anything about that with my enigmatic form?
Yeah, enigmatic form would be great for that. Shapeshift into something.
Well,
What would you like?
Something useful. So he's got my hand.
Yep.
So back to crab again. Now I'm pinching his hand.
Oh, you want to be a crab?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I said I'll be able to skitter out of the hole potentially rather than slipping around in sand.
Okay.
Or is he just going to instantly crush me because I'm in his hand?
I was thinking he's pulling with force to try to bring you into the pit. But when you become something smaller, you're able to use that force to sort of let him fling you, and he can fling you. He flings you into an area where you're in much more relative safety.
Okay.
So you're now at the door, and he's sliding into the pit. So yeah, he just goes down into the pit, and yep, you are in a safe spot over by Hollis now.
Nice.
Right in front of the door. So we're waiting for Yarrow and Elise to make their way over to the door. I think that might require something like a prowl or something to get past the others to make it to where Hollis and Seth are, unless you have another idea.
Well,
I would say Elise alone would have no problem making it to the door, but with Yarrow in tow.
how many
my
are there
hooves are a
between
little
us?
loud.
I think there are like 5 left.
Hmm.
at various parts of the island, all scrounging and scavenging for any kind of meat they can find.
Well, I think I'll just do a regular prowl just because I'm gonna have to get there somehow.
Okay. So you two want to kind of split up a little bit. So
I think it might be easier for Elise to maneuver on her, or actually,
Yes.
since we're body controlled now.
And in fact, I have an idea that'll make it much easier.
oh yeah.
Yes. I'm going to just start slashing at the first one I see.
Oh, okay. Start a little infighting.
Yes. And that will serve as a perfect distraction.
That's awesome. Do you want to spend 1 willpower to give Yara an assist on her prowls?
Yes.
Awesome.
All right, so that'll give me 2 then. Woo.
Nice. Wow, you are
You didn't
rolling
even need
hot tonight. Okay. I think
Like us.
I think by the end of that, just like as you would expect, the only one that's still on your trail is the one that Elise is currently sort of tete-a-teting with. And all the others you were able to escape. So, yep, just one left to deal with. Otherwise, you will both make it back to where Seth and Hollis are.
So we only have 1 left. Let's see. Did we figure out if we can restore them or not, or we're just destroying as we go?
I don't think we can, darling.
Okay,
Their brains are very, very wrong.
I think this might be a good time. Maybe we'll do a use the last 3 of my essence here. Maybe we can destroy the last one.
Okay.
Let's try my destroy.
So, destroy can be used on people and people-like objects, but it's more for destructing the environment. So if you wanted to like make that hole bigger in front of the door to prevent others from coming across, because eventually those other 4 are going to try to get in. You could use it to just completely obliterate this creature that's standing in your way, though. So.
I think it might be smarter to try to expand the hole, and maybe that'll start the whole zombie mode.
I will
Zombie
also
mosh
say
pit mode.
that if I'm engaging this one creature,
Yeah.
there's no losing outcome here, because either this corpse that I'm inside right now dies, or the one that I'm attacking dies, and either are equally fine.
Yeah, let's roll. Why don't you roll a 2 dice, or 2 dice fortune roll, and I'll roll a 1 die fortune roll for mine.
Right. Me?
Yeah.
A 6.
Yeah. So mine was a 5, and yours was a 6. Okay. So yeah, you can describe how you take down the other.
Well, it takes me a while to get into the body of this thing, because it's so wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. So I rush up to it, or shamble, rather, and I start just flailing at it with my gross, exposed finger bones. And at first it's more like a slap, because I have no ability to keep my claws tensed. So it mostly just gets annoyed at me at first. And of course it thinks I'm one of it anyhow. But over time, I start figuring out how to tense those fingers up, and I start slashing at its throat.
Might I interject something? I think another thing you learn is how to activate one of its inner powers that lets you basically time slows down and you're able to move at superhuman speeds in this thing's body. Yeah, and I think that's how you get the best of it and tear its throat out.
Perfect. Well, I was ready to just dispose of this body, but it seems like it might have some uses.
Yeah. All right. So the four of you have made it to the entrance of the Covenstead, and Yarrow, do you want to do your power word destroy?
Yeah, I think we still want to expand this here, and again, we're gonna start the zombie mode. I think a zombie mosh pit mode sounds amazing, and I mean it takes 3 essence as it is, so that's gonna be pretty powerful.
Yeah. So there are 4 above ground still, and then 2 in that pit. So 6 total. So yeah.
All right, so I think we're just gonna roll with these things are like big giant tuning forks, and I think I'm gonna try to just knock them so big, and because I want it to go out on either side, I don't want it to just expand in a big hole because we want to start the mode. So I want it to more like concentrate coming out from that way. So, and I just think with the word of power and destroy, and it just starts pulsating out from there.
Awesome.
Let's see. Do I roll for that one?
Focus.
Yeah, focus.
And you can spend 2 willpower to get an extra die, or you could take a favor bargain if you'd like for an extra die.
I'll do the 2 willpower.
Okay.
Because I mean, I might as well just like get as close to. I'm just gonna even them both out. They're gonna be as close.
Okay.
Hey, 5 partial success. So.
Did you run out of essence?
I am now out of essence.
And willpower?
No, I do have 3 willpower left.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You're just getting them closer together.
Yeah, just might as well. Let's go.
All right, awesome. So that is a minor consequence. Yeah, I think it's a very loud sound. So anybody else on the island has heard the explosion from your power word destroy and are aware that the Covenstead is being breached. All right.
Well, I think it might be slightly a good thing that they know I could make a big giant explosion.
Absolutely could be. Okay. So you're all there. You have a nice chasm between you and the other 4 that are trying to get to you to eat you. And you have a way into the Covenstead again.
I think we should try to figure out what's going on downstairs now.
Yes, that does seem like a priority.
I don't think Jarl's ever been down to the cells, though, in the basement.
I know. I think the other 3 all have, though.
Well, Hollis and I certainly have, because I remember the 2 of us having to deal with a shadow creature in one of them.
Yep. You did some enhanced interrogation techniques down there as well.
Remember myself and the shadow creature both trying to possess Hollis at the same time.
That's right. All right. So it's a simple matter to get down there if that's what you're trying to do. If you're just making a beeline down to the cells. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yes.
And all 4 of you are going?
I believe so. I mean, I'm half tempted to stay here and try to goad these other creatures into falling into the moat, but we can't have Trinity getting all healed up.
Yeah, Jarl's tentative, but she's gonna go because the thing when it just stared at her, made the hair stand up, but she's like, I guess let's figure this out.
Yeah. How about Seth?
Seth's down. Seth wants to go. They're gonna tumble down the stairs as a crab before they.
Send the crab first.
You can pinch your little pincers onto one of my bony fingertips.
Oh,
There's no nerves there.
Yeah.
Won't hurt. Also, this isn't my body.
thanks for the ride.
Okay. It takes you about 3 minutes to work your way through a sort of maze of hallways and past a few of your sleeping quarters and stuff before you get down there. You pass your vault and you are ready to go into the chamber that has your holding cells. And you listen for just a moment to see what you can hear on the other side of the door, and you can't hear anything. No movement or anything. No breathing.
Well, that's not good.
Well, no time like the present. I charge in.
Okay. Do you want to just shoulder open the door?
Well, yes, it's not my shoulder, so
Yeah.
even if I dislocate it entirely, who cares?
And heck, I'm on your finger. You can just like yeet me.
Eat if necessary. All right.
I might.
You bust through the door and you can see all of your cells sitting empty. A pile of dead rats in the place where Trinity was sitting before. The rats look like they've had all of the blood drained from them.
Has she been a vampire this whole time?
She has been a vampire this whole time.
Dang it.
That's why she survived down here for so long.
Mm.
So
This makes it better. Although I don't know why she decided to use a shotgun against me when she was a vampire.
She hadn't really come into her powers yet.
Ah.
She had just been turned.
Ugh.
Oh, I see. She knew we were coming for her, and she turned to darkness.
That's why she
You
was
remember
on
her-
laundry mat. She couldn't wear her cross anymore.
Yep. Had this planned from the beginning. And you remember her second in command? How when you guys faced him, he just collapsed from exhaustion and
Oh,
couldn't
she
fight
had
you?
eaten all of his blood.
She had just drained him so that she could survive whatever was going to happen to her next.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, I'm starting to get the idea that we should probably be killing our prisoners quicker.
Yeah, I think that might be a good idea. No more prisoners, just
Yes,
Dead
take no
bodies.
prisoners. That's the new motto of the Nightsky Sanctum.
it
Turn-
always comes back to bite us.
Turn the old prison into more sleeping quarters. Get more covenant.
B&B.
Good idea. Maybe the Red Watch will come sleep there. All right. So anything else you want to do? Hello, bird.
Well, I'm not sure what else we can do. I suppose we could.
I guess there's
That'd be
really no
the rat.
point in using psychometry on the rats because we know what's going on right now. And that's not going to give us any new information.
Mm-hmm. You do find the exposed pipe that leads into her cell, sticking out of the wall with a jagged, rusty entrance. Because these are old pipes. This is all an old bunker, military bunker that you guys have kind of restored. So there's a little bit of blood dripping from the inside of that rusty pipe. So you think that might be have been
Yeah, no.
used. Psychometry could be useful there.
Yeah, I'll use my psychometry there. We want to see if the kids are okay.
Yeah, let's check on the children.
We keep
There they
forgetting about the kids.
I
So
know.
luckily,
Terrible
you
parents.
as soon as you came into the cell room, you were very you're relatively sure that they're safe because her cell door is still locked.
Good to know.
But do you want to go ahead and make a focus roll on that psychometry?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get two pieces of information. So I think what you see immediately as soon as you reach up and touch that pipe is a drip of blood drops off of it and lands on your forehead and starts rolling down toward your temple. And your mind kind of goes red, and you see two rats up in that pipe, scurrying up and into the darkness above, and one of them catches its foot in the rust and cuts it.
Okay.
And then you sort of reach up instinctively and wipe the blood off, and you're like, yeah, this is the same. This is the blood from what I was seeing. You're not sure if it's Trinity's or the other creatures, but having it here in your hand, you're like, potentially useful.
What can Elise do with that blood knife?
Well, it's not just a question of what Elise can do. Don't we have a blood magic specialist here in the bunker?
I thought that was you learning blood magic.
They could potentially give us some advice. If we have blood here, we may be able to use it to our advantage. To track them at the very least.
Yeah, you could do that for sure. The Daglock and find them.
Absolutely. Do you want to preserve this blood and tackle that another time after you've had a chance to sort of recover and figure out what you're going to do about these other vampires on your island? Or
Yeah.
Probably a good idea to take a moment to plan. Rushing headlong into things, as much as everyone else here adores doing so, never the best idea.
according to the dream that Hollis had, the moon for tonight's moon is the moon that you need to be under to unlock the path to the floating market. So you at least have about 10 hours or so until that happens.
Quickly, do we think we could kill 2 vampires?
I think we could do it relatively quickly.
One that should be pretty weakened already, all things considered.
How many are in the pit?
2.
The other 4 are unlikely to be able to get into the bunker, though, with the pit there.
Yeah.
Problem for another day, perhaps. And a problem
Go
that
ahead.
sorts itself out if they're the sort of vampires that don't like the sunlight.
Oh, it's the middle of the day, and they've been completely fine.
Oh, well. Garlic, then, perhaps.
I was thinking maybe I would try to do some fire in the hole again
Oh, okay.
and just
Now
wipe
that you have
those
more
2
time.
out. Yeah.
I would say since the other threats are gone, it should be, if you guys just want to sort of round them up, get them all in the pit, and then incinerate them, we could just do that in a single roll.
Okay.
Just do. Who else down with that?
Cool, but I do like the idea of us having a moat of vampires.
True. It's just a matter of time before they can work their way out. It's only an 8-foot deep pit.
Then incineration might be the best option.
And does Elise want to throw her body that she's taken over down into the pit as well?
Certainly, she wants to get the hell out of this thing. Awful.
She
She tries to go left, it goes right.
So yeah, who wants to be involved, and then we'll make a roll.
I'll be involved. I can help round up.
I might be able to utilize the body to help goad the other creatures into the pit before actually.
I think the
Just-
closest I can come to something is lending a willpower to assist and for a die.
Yeah. Well, I think you've already with your the previous use of clairvoyance and the fact that you just have clairvoyance means that you can kind of take a moment to rest, and you can kind of pass information to them about what you're seeing out there, even without it costing you any real trouble. So you can continue to use powers even once you're out of essence. It's just you take the number of essence, and that's basically the number of complications you get. So if it's just one essence, you just get one little complication. But if it's 3 essences, it's the equivalent of a dire complication, a big deal, and more equals more. So yeah.
So just
All
because
right.
we're tricksy.
So somebody want to roll 2 dice, fortune roll, and we'll see how this goes. How quickly you're able to wrap this up. All right. We have a 6. So I think that goes pretty smoothly. No issues for Yarrow casting spells without any essence left, and no issues for the rest of you. So I think that just is, we are left with all of you standing over the pit, and Elise being ready to get rid of this body.
Just turns around, does a little finger waggle of the little nasty bony fingertips, crosses over, falls back in.
Into the flaming pit. Your mustache gets singed off as you.
Aw.
Bony thumb up above the fire as I die. Like the Terminator.
All right. And then you're able to close off your spell, your protective circle, and that's the end of the entanglement. On the positive side, that does reduce your infamy. So your infamy has now gone down a level, and I think I've already changed the character sheet. So I think you guys only have 1 level of infamy left.
Well, this still says 2. I thought we were up to 3. Oh, we have 3 reputation.
Yeah. And you've had 2, you were up to 4, and you've had 2 entanglements, so it should be down to 2 now.
Okay.
So yeah. Every time you get an entanglement, your infamy drops by a level once you've successfully navigated it. And with Fey contracts, no matter how many levels of Fey contracts you have, once you've dealt with your Fey contract entanglement, you lose all those levels. So you reset back to 0. So, all right. Do you think we can do a 10-minute quick undertaking? so that you guys can get some some downtime. Undertakings don't have to be anything massive. Sometimes it can be as simple as a single roll, depending on what it is you're trying to do. So if you look back in chat in our Tuesday stream chat, we did. I put a list of the undertakings. So if you can think of something that you could do that counts as one of those undertakings that we could do quickly.
I mean, we did just do arson, right?
Yeah, but you have
Does it
to.
count?
Yeah, you have to like set out to do it and do it and then come back. So it's usually against a faction or a specific important NPC or something like that.
Probably not
Ooh.
enough time to kill Trinity again. Well,
Yeah.
this time, really.
You know, threaten is one. So if you want to use that blood to do Rite of the Daglock, you could find a way to send a threat to them to let them know that you're coming for them.
Oh, that could be fun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That could
Let her know
possibly.
that she just lost the easy way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that, or do you have another idea? Because I think there's like 54 items on that list.
That one sounds fun and sounds like the one that makes the most sense for considering everything that happened.
There's so many undertakings I want to do now, looking at the list.
I know.
And who knows how long that blood will last. It could vanish when the sun comes, or when night falls.
So we had best work quickly with that.
So what's the undertaking type, method, and detail? Oh, while you guys are looking at the coven sheet, I'll make a note that by Francita from Twitter is working on the new coven sheets too, so they will be in the same style as the character sheets, which are
They look so good so far.
yeah, they're going to be two-sided, just like the player character grimoire sheets. So we've seen a preliminary copy earlier today, so really excited to see those.
So I guess it would be an arcane method and a power / ritual detail.
Okay,
So,
yeah, awesome. Does that make
the
sense to
ritual
everybody?
being the Daglock thing.
Yes.
And then that'll give you information about where they're located. And then you can decide how you want to deliver your threat based on what you learn. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So I guess let's do an engagement roll then. And that real quick. Okay. You guys are tier 2. The vampires that are aligned with Forsaken Saints are the same tier as you. So that's not going to result in any additional dice. You get +1 die for using Rite of the Daglock, because that's going to help you identify where they are very well. And this is definitely an unexpected avenue by which they have no defenses. So this is going to be a 3-die fortune roll. And that gives us a 4. So that means that the undertaking starts in a risky position, where, let's see, you track them down to an abandoned warehouse, and it's on the docks. near where there is a place to anchor a ferry, but the ferry has not returned today for some odd reason.
How peculiar.
So it's what time would you guys prefer like to be there? It could be any time from like 2 p.m. all the way to nightfall.
I always prefer nighttime, so generally people aren't going to see us.
Okay.
Yes, and I look odd walking around in a gown in the middle of the day.
Yeah, and this might just flow right into the next undertaking to do the floating market. So, okay, you all make landfall there at around nightfall, and you find the warehouse that your tuning fork is pointing to, and you recognize that you've been in there previously. You met one of your contacts. I think it was a contact of Seth's, if I remember right.
Yeah, this is where we met Vinny and we gave him fake fruits.
Yeah. So, yeah, you recognize the warehouse as being one of the ones that you've met with Vinny before. And you know the secret knock that you use to get his attention when you need to come and pay him off so that he doesn't go and tell your whereabouts to the Red Watch. So do you want to start by doing something like that?
Yeah, I guess I can attempt to do the knock and see if Vinny's even there.
Sure.
Responds.
Vinny might be a vampire now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You do the secret knock. What does that sound like?
It's also the cucaracha.
Come
1,
through
2.
it.
All right. And you hear the response that you expect, him doing the knock back. And he, you hear the door click unlocked, and then you see the handle turn, and then you hear footsteps running away from the door back into the warehouse.
So the door is unlocked now, though?
The door is unlocked and open just a hair. And you hear what sounds like Vinny running off deeper into the warehouse.
Should I find a safe to take over and shoulder charge it again?
We don't know if is it arson that's always the solution or shoulder charges is always the solution. I think
One
that
after the other.
yeah, that's going to be the dividing line among fans. Is arson always the answer? Is a shoulder charge always the answer?
That was my first thought, was set it on fire. There's not much more threatening than setting your building on fire.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I go in if the door's unlocked now.
It is. Yep. All right. You open the door, and moonlight shines in through the doorway, and you can see in a few dozen feet or so. You can see big cranes. Their chains are come down into the room, and with the big hooks, and there's motors and stuff like that. There's some boats that are sitting off to the left behind a garage door, and it just looks like a pretty normal boathouse, warehouse boathouse kind of thing. And Vinny is nowhere to be seen. But your guiding rod, your right of the daglock, is still pushing you forward into this building.
Should we do away with all subtlety just start threatening them loudly.
Hmm.
We know they're here.
Yep. No matter where he ran, he's got to be within earshot.
Hey,
I mean,
Vinny,
you
I
could.
thought the vampires, but
Yeah.
it's Vinny as well.
I mean, you could end this undertaking very quickly if you just deliver your threat and turn around and walk out the door. And you've got the command for it, the voice.
Yeah. I could pipe up and I could say, assuming everyone's okay with me simply delivering a very loud threat. Well, first, actually, does anything around here look flammable?
There is a big garbage can in the middle of the room that looks like they usually burn things in it, and there's some like mechanics stuff. You can tell how much I know about cars and boats. Call it mechanic stuff. There's there are oil containers and things like
perfect.
that.
I was
near
going
the
to ask
boat.
if there was any petrol.
Yep.
So perhaps we first do a little bit of decorating with the petrol. See if we can pour some around the room.
Yeah, who wants to be in charge of the pouring the petrol around?
I can, I guess.
What form do you want to be in for that?
I'll just be normal form. Need fingers to hang on to things. Just give Vinny another reason to hate my guts.
Okay. And you're just gonna do this like general area. You're not gonna go like too deep into the back or anything.
No, if we're threatening, we're gonna send a message. So just like douse this room pretty much.
Okay. Maybe those boats that they're working on, or that's probably the most valuable thing that's flammable here.
Yeah, maybe one of the boats.
Okay.
In case it explodes, we don't want to be like this close.
This is Children of Midnight Coven, not a Hollywood film.
Walking away from explosions didn't work out so well last time.
Shrapnel in the shoulder, if I remember right.
It did look cool.
It did look cool. You're like, ow. Okay. I'm gonna say no roll for delivering the petrol to the boats. And then Elise.
Assuming we're all ready, I shall simply clear my throat, and I shall say, "Scurry all you want, little rat. Scurry far, scurry near. You cannot escape us. You thought having your hands chopped off and being locked in a cell was bad. Well, you've done away with every single bit of clemency left in my heart, in our heart. Goodness knows my friends are more twisted than I often. So, come out, face us now, or it will just get worse, darling. And as you well know, nothing's going to stop me. Or do you think that you can do worse than a shotgun blast? And then I take my cigarette and drop it on the ground.
Right. Do you want to make a command roll or something like that?
I suppose that would be sensible. You need to roll at some point, don't we? I'm going to throw. I don't even know what the commands really working towards here, but I am going to do a bit of a fey bargain with this one, I think.
Okay.
Just to be extra commanding.
Ooh, how about maybe you throw down a glove to be part of your calling card, but you forget that you got some blood on it at some point in the past?
Oh, and they can track me back. Well, they do know where we are anyhow.
They know where you live anyway, but yeah.
I was going to do that anyhow, so make it a little bit bloody. That works anyhow.
All right.
I think I've said the word anyhow about 5 times in the last 20 seconds. All right. A 4-die command. Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even think it was possible with 4 die.
Okay. Vinny skulks from the shadows and takes a shot at you.
I take it.
Yeah.
And I use threefold curse.
Okay. It's going to be level 3 harm. Shot through the lung.
God.
But spend the essence, and I don't think there's a roll for threefold curse because it's pretty.
There is. It's a focus roll.
Okay.
So I suppose he shoots me in the lung, and the smoke escapes from my lung and beelines towards him.
Yeah, that makes sense. I love that.
And that is a complete success.
That's what we're looking for. Okay. How
So
do
I double over as it escapes, absolutely gasping for breath.
how do you want that to manifest? Something fast, sudden, and very, very, very deadly, or what?
To be very deadly, but I want it to be slow and horrifying. Slow as in it takes about 15 minutes for him to properly die. But
Okay.
he's screaming in agony the entire time.
Okay. So here's what happens. The curse hits him. It hits him in the face. It disperses through his nose and his eyes. And as soon as it clears, he looks around and he's like, they're all just standing there and I'm completely fine. So he turns to run and he gets his pants loop hooked on a piece of machinery and he super speed runs with vampiric speed. And when he does, he pulls one of the cranes over and it lands on him and crushes his legs, pinning him to the floor and nearly cutting him in half. And now he has about 15 minutes to live.
I probably do as well, in all honesty.
Do you want to load Elise up on the boat and get the hell out of here?
Yeah, ideally the one that's not on fire.
Your
I'd
boat.
shout out something about learning lessons about shooting me, but unfortunately I don't think I can shout very well in my current
True.
situation.
That's so sad.
Truly is.
Elise not being able to shout.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that sounds like the end of the undertaking. If you are all heading back on your boat,
Yeah.
who wants to do drawing down the moon? While
Well,
I'm
again, I don't think I'm in any situation to be drawing down the moon.
yeah. I assume somebody is going to be patching up the bullet wound in Elise.
Yeah, I got the first aid kit, so I can patch up Elise.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we can just jump back to the Covenstead and do drawing down the moon, and then we can do downtime off camera. So do drawing down the moon. Who wants to?
Motorboating away from the warehouse as the fire grows.
Who is Elise motorboating? In your state, you should not be motorboating it.
Goodness, she wouldn't dare. She's a proper person. Never gets caught in such a situation.
Well, I did join down the moon 2 sessions ago.
And I think Elise did a crit drawing down the moon like 3 sessions ago. How about Yarrow? It's been a while since we've seen you on screen.
It has. Let's do it. Let's do. I have to remember all the drawing down. Last time I typed in the wrong thing.
Oh, it's !2 DDTM.
Oh, good
Okay.
result.
Oh, thank goodness.
So we
4
have,
essence and 2 willpower for everyone.
which is
Nice.
good because I needed that. And magically, oh no, I'm not even. Dang it! I have 1 extra one that I used. But I guess I can describe the drawing down the moon.
Yeah, be great.
So we have this huge like fun pit, you know, and so I just figure we're all just standing like, oh, look at this new pit. And I was like, okay, so as usual, I lift up and I'm like, okay, we're gonna bring some wonderful energy down into this pit and maybe we can get it started. And so as I bring my hand down, my arms down, like
Yarrow's
light
opening up
fills
the
the
pit.
pit, and we have a little illuminated pit that refreshes us.
Nice.
A refreshing mosh pit.
Yeah, exactly.
You notice something else about the moonlight that's hitting the ground and everything out here. All the bits of vampire that were in the pit have disintegrated in the moonlight.
Oh my god, they're daywalkers.
Weird.
That's interesting.
All right.
That's not
and,
right.
and we will call that there.
Mega vampires.
So next week it will be a run-in with the Vile Legion and a run to the ferry run floating market to get rewards from some of your previous undertakings.
I like rewards.
Yeah.
And we've got all those tokens.
Yeah, that's true. You have a lot of effective money that you can bring to bear of getting some pretty cool artifacts next week. So
Perhaps we can pay them to vampire-proof our covens did.
Give you a lot more information about how these vampires work and what's going on. I feel like one of you met a vampire previously on the floating market. Oh, was that was Madeline?
Yeah.
I thought it was like a lamia.
Yeah. A nighttime vampire. Yeah.
The
So-
distinction needs to be made.
Yeah. So we have nighttime vampires and we have daytime vampires now.
Creatures of the day.
That has a nice
ring to it. I'm a creature of the day.
Yep.
Suffer bullet brunch.
I love that. So let's go through and have everybody tell the internet where they can find you. We'll start with Morningstar.
Hey, well, internet. If you're keen to find me, and by some poor twist of fate haven't done so thus far, you can do so at the Cytherian on Facebook or the _Cytherian on Instagram and Twitter. And if you choose to do so, you'll be delighted by all the visual treats I provide of yours truly.
Excellent. And Lilith?
I currently don't have my socials up for my editing and my personal work. Working on that. But if you want to see any of my current work that I've done, I'm the photographer and editor for the Morningstar content, so just go to any of the previously mentioned links.
Awesome. Anya?
Yeah. I am going to start streaming Animal Crossing on this channel probably on Friday. So if you want to come watch me have fun running around my island, you can come do that on Fridays.
Yep. Share some witchy content in
Yeah.
common with the rest of the stuff. All right. And Azalin?
I am Azalin. You can find me pretty much anywhere under Azalin. TikTok is under Azalin Art though, and that's getting pretty fun. I'm actually getting really close to being able to go live on there, so that's exciting. And Azalin on Instagram and all the jazz. I do just a little bit of everything, all that creative goodness, and then of course here on Tuesdays.
Awesome. Yep. And Anya and I are the co-creators of Children of Midnight Coven. And we also have a merch store available at shop.balsamicgames.com. And the game itself is free to download at quickstart.childrenofmidnight.com. These covens and many, many others are all available in that quick start guide. And hopefully the main game that's going to be about 200 pages long or maybe more is going to be available probably by the end of 2022. So we're just working out publishing. But thank you all so much for joining us. And we hope to see you all next week.
It's been lovely having you.
Yeah. Have a great day. Great night, even. Bye.